Is that better? Is that better? Okay, I want to start off by thanking everybody for being here tonight. My name is Todd Rockwell, Ward 3 City Council member. It's great to see everybody in this room tonight, whether you're for it, against it. I think everybody knows why we're here to discuss the ordinance. Thank you so much for being here. First, I just want to welcome y'all. We're here to address your comments and concerns on the ordinance. We hope to dissolve any confusion as to what this ordinance actually says. Mayor Harmon has assigned a committee to host this forum for your benefit, to answer your questions and address the concerns that you may have. This is an information gathering session for you, the citizens, and for us, the elected members of City Council that are present. Everyone who wishes to speak will be given an opportunity to do so. All we ask is you limit your time to under 3 minutes. We'll have a timer in place. Before we get started, I want to take a moment to honor Mr. William Simmons with a moment of silence, please. Thank you, everybody. Thanks again. We appreciate y'all being here. Allow me to introduce our first speaker is Councilmember Penny Ransom.
Okay, can everyone hear me? Again, I also want to thank all the faces that are here tonight.
No, you can't hear.
You can't hear? Is that better? I want to thank everyone that's here tonight. I hope that we can clear up, as Todd said, the issues about what this ordinance is in regards to. This ordinance is in regards to misdemeanor possession of less than an ounce of marijuana when that is the sole offense observed by an officer in a non-traffic offense. This has absolutely nothing to do with felony charges that would still be registered as felonies, such as marijuana within so many feet of a school zone or a city park. It doesn't change anything in regards to driving under the influence. It doesn't affect the law other than as it states in the ordinance, which is the misdemeanor possession when that is the sole offense observed in a non-traffic violation by the officer. We were supposed to have another speaker here tonight. She was the executive director of Peachtree Normal. She was injured, I guess, yesterday, and unfortunately had to cancel. She did send some of her notes. But her testimony would have been an awesome thing to be able to hear about what can actually happen to a family over what other people wouldn't think anything about. The privacy of your own home. Definitely a misdemeanor violation that ended up with a SWAT team in her house with guns pointed at her 19 and 14-year-old daughter's heads. The law that we have in place, we have a marijuana ordinance in place. The city already has that. When that ordinance was adopted however many years ago, the maximum fine was set at $1,000, 6 months in jail, and or both. This is simply to see whether or not the city of Temple is ready to make a more progressive move when it involves misdemeanor crimes. In the state of Georgia, most all of your traffic tickets are misdemeanors. Speeding is a misdemeanor. Running a red light is a misdemeanor. But open container in Georgia is not a misdemeanor. That's a $200 fine. I have a letter from Tom McCain, was another speaker that we had hoped could be here, and I'm going to read this, and then I'm going to turn the floor over, and then we're going to take questions and answers. And I have some more information here to pass out whenever we get there regarding why we have the ordinance, why I'm asking to amend the ordinance, and what I hope that it would help us do in Temple. But this letter is from Mr. Tom McCain. And he says, "Dear council members, I admire you for proposing an amendment to the city ordinance for possession of 1 ounce or less of marijuana in Temple. I'm not sure if this will be of any assistance to you, but please feel free to share. I'm a retired Georgia peace officer. I've worked in both Lawrence County and Johnson County Sheriff's Offices, retiring as the Chief Deputy of Johnson County. I hold advanced senior deputy certificates, instructor certifications, and firearms. Before becoming a peace officer, I spent 20 years in the military, and I'm a retired Air Force Master Sergeant. I heard about the proposed marijuana ordinance amendment being considered by the council and the public, and I wanted to put my 2 cents worth in. After reading my credentials, you might think that I would want to express disapproval of it, but you would be wrong. I fully support the proposed ordinance. Georgia still has some of the most restrictive cannabis laws in the nation, with millions of lives being ruined for simply possessing misdemeanor or small amounts of marijuana. I've seen model college students lose scholarships because of a simple possession charge. Employees lose jobs, and until 2 years ago, Georgia was still suspending your driver's license for mere possession, even if you were nowhere near a vehicle. I've dealt with people since my retirement that have had trouble finding decent work because of a conviction that was on their record. By exercising your option to remove the possibility of an arrest or a criminal record for this misdemeanor, you will eliminate this. You will save time it takes to book someone, transport to the county for housing, and the cost of court time. This is an idea that's time has come to Georgia, and he urges us to consider the ordinance. There are more important issues for our peace officers to concentrate on than the misdemeanor amounts of marijuana. I want to turn it over to James Bell. He is with the Georgia Care Project. I'll let him introduce himself, and then we'll open it up to Q&A.
Thank you.
Part of town, you don't know where you live?
And where is he from?
Good evening. I am James Bell. I'm from Lithia Springs, Georgia. I run the Georgia Care Project.
This is Temple.
This is supposed to be a civilized meeting.
I want to hear anybody.
This is an information gathering. Information gathering.
We agree.
Who agrees saying nothing?
We agree. This
This is an information gathering.
Y'all want to hear it?
You don't want to hear the truth.
Let's go back and get somebody here. This is Temple.
It is. He's just here to answer questions and to speak on the ordinance.
He is for.
Ask him why he said what he did earlier today on the Facebook page.
Yes.
about-
You'll have that opportunity
about
when the
Mississippi.
question and answer session starts.
We don't know about it.
Closed minds.
You're not here to gather information on the subject. Why else would you be
Mr.
here?
Harmon said this was a public input from us, from the citizens of the temple.
Information
Not Lithia
gathering
Springs,
is what Mr.
Not
Harmon
anybody
said.
from Dahlonega, not anybody from Johnsonville that Ms. Ransom said, or where it was, City of Johnston, or wherever it was he came from. This is us. I look around here and I see, I've been here 20-something years. I see all these folks right here that I live here and I protected when I policed here. I maybe see 5 people sitting on this side of here that live in the city of Temple.
It's not time right now. You'll have your 3 minutes.
I'm sorry, I'm compassionate about this.
I respect that. That's why everybody here is invited to be here, to hear both sides also.
That's right.
That's why you're here. That's why you're here. If you'd like to hear information about the ordinance,
We don't.
Majority of the people here is not for
We
you.
don't want hearing.
Now, you can go back to Lithia Springs if you would like.
Yes, set up Lithia Springs.
Yeah.
Put it down to $75 on the land, instead of Temple.
Go back to where you live. Convince them.
We have this proposal in Lithia Springs.
Do you have it Lithia Springs?
Lithia
Lithia
Springs don't
Springs,
exist.
Douglasville, April, any of those places.
It's in Douglas County.
I don't respect this meeting as being orderly when you got somebody that's not even concerned with our town.
That's right.
They don't live here. They don't
Why is he here?
They don't raise kids here. They don't
And you're raising kids here. Where are your kids?
Where are your kids? Your kids are from Savannah, and they're up here.
Well, Temple is my home, and I for one would like to hear what Mr. Bell has to say.
You go outside.
Go to Lithia.
Why don't you make me go to Lithia?
You go outside and meet with him.
That's right.
Go right ahead.
This is the city of Temple. It's got
We're
nothing to
wasting
do
our
with
time.
it.
We don't want to hear from Lithia Springs.
That's what's wrong with us now. Outsiders come in here and try to tell us how to run
No,
our
what's wrong
business.
is you don't respect people's First Amendment rights. He has a right to speak whether you like it or not.
Well, let's go outside.
He's in a public building owned by the taxpayers. He has every right to speak.
I'm from the city of Temple.
Is he a
I live at
taxpayer?
441 Sage Street.
And you rent your house.
I am a renter.
And you can leave anytime.
It's my turn to speak.
You rent your house and you can move when the place goes to pot.
We'll never know if we don't listen and hear.
Are you on the agenda?
I'm certainly on the agenda.
Where?
My first name is
Well,
first.
you've already done that, haven't you?
Yeah.
I'm back.
We have a committee appointed by 2 people that's for this, and nobody opposed it. Nobody that's on the committee opposed it.
They were invited.
Pardon?
They were invited
By whom? Who
by
did?
myself. I invited Howard Walton yesterday, and I invited Richard Bracknell yesterday.
The committee
You don't have to
appointed
invite him,
the
yes,
committee.
he's supposed to be here anyhow.
Who appointed it?
The mayor appointed the committee,
Appointed 2 people.
Yeah, where's
Both
he?
of them for this committee.
right?
Why wasn't it a one for, against and one opposed? You'd get a.
Well, I can't answer that question.
Well, the mayor could. Where's the mayor? There he is.
The mayor's right over here.
Well, the mayor should answer that then. You appointed 2 people, both of them for it, nobody opposing it. How is that constitution?
It's not fair.
It was to benefit the citizens of the city to gather information.
It was to convince us to sell out the pot.
It was, we are here to hear your opinion.
You're getting it.
Yeah, and I respect that, and you're getting your time, but nobody's respecting me having the floor, trying to offer you guys some
We
information.
don't need to hear how it's going to benefit us.
We got the information right here on the ordinance.
You're wasting our time. Yes.
I mean, everybody.
We all believe it's wasting time.
You're invited here,
How
nobody
many of you
forced your
already
action.
live in the city?
Hey, I'm in the city.
I'm in the
I don't
city.
know really what this is about, and the only reason I come is I really want to just hear. That don't mean I'm for it, that don't mean I'm against it.
I don't want to hear nobody that wants to convince me that we need pot.
That's all you need to hear.
Trying to explain the ordinance.
It won't hurt us unless we
That's,
I'm not for and I'm not against, I'm being honest. I want to know what it's about.
and we want to help people make their decision based on some facts. And also, I'm glad you're here. I've always asked for you guys' input, always since I've been in office.
You're gonna get it there.
I'm great. I'm glad that I'm getting it. I'm glad I'm getting it. I've been serving for 16 months, and I'm hearing some stuff now.
That's too long.
That's great.
Yes, yes.
Got 3.5 years left,
You
unless my lease runs out, of course,
enjoy
right?
them. You enjoy them 3.
Yeah. So I'm here because I care what you have to say, not to be disrespected like y'all are.
You
Disrespected
disrespected
is
it trying to
when you
explain.
bring
We're
this
offering-
side into this meeting and trying to convince us that pot is good for us.
It has nothing to do with where he's from. I'm from Temple, and I'm getting ostracized for being a renter.
The only reason.
So what is the truth?
What is this really about? It's about the 5-10 cent.
It is about lowering an ordinance.
You don't want to give them a fine.
It's about lowering the fines of an ordinance.
For that they should be fined $1,000 because they don't make enough money to afford their house and their pot and their car payment. So let's lower the fine so they can go buy more pot.
We're here to be transparent with you. That's why we're here. We're here to be
Sorry,
transparent.
you wasn't transparent from the beginning, because on your own website, you quoted the wrong law, and I asked you to change that, and you didn't. You misled people. You're misleading people here today. You got Mr. James Bell up here making comments on the internet saying that marijuana makes white women love Negroes and jazz music. Now, we're going to sit here and listen to him. I got it. I brought it. I knew you doubt it, but I took a picture of it. Now, we're going to listen to somebody that says that?
Read it. It's on the Facebook.
know where
Read it.
that
This is
You know where that
the
Let me show Channel 2 News report what Mr. Bell did.
Show it to
This man right here is
Channel 2.
not even
Show it to Channel 2.
He can go
Do
back
any
to
of
the
y'all know where that statement was originally made?
Hey, where do you live? Where do you live?
Yeah, that's
I live in unincorporated Carroll County.
Get out
Yes.
of here, they ain't no good.
I work in
I work in Harlem, but that don't mean I'm gonna go down there and figure out what get in what their head moves.
Thank you. Thank you.
Does anybody know where the statement he made?
Don't nobody give us shit.
Brian, show it to Channel 2.
Thank you for coming and expressing your opinion tonight.
Good. Get your ass out of here.
If anybody would like to
This is an
discuss
out.
this
This is
issue,
1 ounce of marijuana.
I'll be outside. We'll be able to talk this issue. I'll be glad to talk to anyone that want to hear this. Thank you very much.
While you're at it, won't you explain that comment?
Yeah, I will. If you want to listen, I'll tell you.
Now, say it right here in front of everybody. That boss say it on Facebook, say it here.
Let me address the issue of the Negro issue. That was said in 1936 by a person trying to outlaw marijuana. They used lies and fear tactics back in 1936 as they're being used today. I did not say that. I was quoting a person in Congress stating that if people...
Yeah, you don't want to talk about that.
No, if you'll listen, I'll answer any questions you have. The meeting has been called, apparently, and that's fine. I will be with you outside. Yeah. That's fine. Do you want me to answer the question? I do appreciate the Southern hospitality.
You're welcome. Go back to Vineyard Springs.
I'll tell you what, as long as you take state and federal money, as long as you're going to arrest me in your town, I have a right to be here. I want to address the issue about the comment of Negroes. That was said in 1936 when Congress was trying to outlaw this. They took information saying that white women were smoking marijuana, that they were having sex with black men, that somehow it made them like jazz music. This is the ignorance and nonsense that was being shared in Washington, D.C. that ultimately outlawed marijuana. Is there any other questions?
Yeah. Hit the road, Jack.
Don't come back.
Don't want to hear nothing else.
Okay.
No matter what you say, marijuana is a class 1 narcotic.
Well, again, if you'd like to talk with me, if you'd like to learn the facts and some information, I'll be outside. I'll be glad to talk with you. If not, here's what you do need to do, though. This is your town. You do need to be involved. When I go to your city hall, I see none of you there. I see none of you there when I go to your city hall. So I just want to get you, I'd like to see you more involved with your...
Would
you like the microphone, sir?
Do what?
Would you like the microphone?
No, I can do that.
Well, you know, this was a meeting for the people. I was going to make a statement, try to set up what is going on around the state of Georgia, and you are going to have input into this for or against. I don't care one way or the other. We've got 700 other cities in the state of Georgia we can be working on. I understand you made your position clear.
Your brain's probably fried with marijuana. I don't doubt that.
No, sir, not
smart.
at all.
But what part of you
We're sitting here saying this, and we know the council members are going to vote how they already figured they were going to vote anyway.
But usually, as someone said, outside of temple in the real world, as they said to me, that in the real world, the community comes together, talks about issues, debates the issues, they talk to your legislators or your council members, and you come back to City Hall and you make a decision of whether or not you want to support or oppose something. Again, when I went to City Hall, I don't think how many attended the last City Hall meeting?
It's none of your business.
Okay, so the point here is to be involved.
Our own council person stated to lure young people here that are upperly mobile.
So
why do we want to lure younger people here in our community?
This is not
How
about
many
luring
younger
young
people do
people.
you see in this audience? Maybe
Would
6
you like
people.
to
Yes, I'll take it.
Yes.
This man has no credibility. You shouldn't be listening to him. This is our community.
You got credibility?
We don't want. Yes, I do.
Really?
Said that.
Really?
Yes, I do. Prove me wrong, sir.
So far, all
You
you've
just
done is
moved your
scare
house.
Prove yourself right.
You can go back to
So
Florida
far,
where
all
you
you've
came
done
from.
is scare
These people have no credibility. I have seen families ruined by marijuana. Marijuana is the first drug they start off with. When they can't no longer get their highs from it, they go to the next drug, whether it be cocaine or meth. And when most times when you find them, when I arrest them, they got marijuana, they got meth, they got cocaine.
So where's your outrage against alcohol?
Alcohol? Can't do nothing about it. All I know, alcohol is legal right now. So marijuana is legal. They're going to
Alcohol is still far many more people than marijuana.
Okay, there's 9.6 million people in Georgia. He has about 2,000 followers. That is 0.005% of the people representing Georgia. Big deal. Miss Revert, that was going to speak tonight, has about 10,000 people. That is 0.002% of Georgia's population. Now, does that seem like everybody's for it?
No.
No, it does not. I'm here today. I have raised 2 children in this community. I'm raising a grandchild in this community, and I do not want to see marijuana on the streets out here getting caught for a $75 fine. I showed you a bag of what an ounce looks like. You can buy that for $100, a low-grade marijuana. Correct me if I'm wrong, anybody. Low grade, $100 on the street. And the fine would be less than that. That is crazy. If you get the high, the loud stuff, what they call loud, which has got more potency in it, it's up to $600. Now, now these people out here that can afford to pay $100 can sure enough can pay the fine of $75. Who's not going to do that? It's crazy.
If somebody gets pulled over with marijuana, is that not driving under the influence?
Yes, it is considered. Anytime you have something that affects your mind, such as marijuana, and it's a mind-altering drug, then that's driving under the influence.
So
If you're possessing of it, and you're testing it.
you drinking and driving, you smoking and driving.
Got 1 minute left, he said.
What?
So this is what
What will it do if you reduce the fine of marijuana to this kind?
it will bring those people here that are that we don't want in our community. That's what I feel.
Well, not only that, but why are they going to treat it as a $75 fine? Well,
That's up to Ms. Ransom and Ms. Rockwell to answer that question. But I will tell you this. I would encourage our city police officers here, if this ordinance passes, you take every one of their butts to the state and put state charges on them and put them in the jail and put a criminal history on them.
There you go.
Because they're going to be the repeat offenders that we have in our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Appreciate you speaking, keeping it in a timely fashion. Anybody else care to have their 3 minutes?
Todd? No. Yes.
Oh, God, we gotta hear this.
It's not about medical marijuana. This is about smoking this stuff on your back porch. Get that clear.
It is about medical marijuana.
Nobody wants it.
You can't read. It says for person.
Down and let me speak.
It's got nothing to do with medical
Sit
marijuana.
down and let me speak.
Sit down because this has nothing to do with medical marijuana. No, I won't shut up.
She just uses her balls
That's
to
a
get
whole
what she
different
wants.
issue than what
She's talking about you.
Does anybody care to hear what I have to say? Closed-minded, narrow-minded outsiders. Well, you were all one. You were an outsider one time, Linda Walden. You were an outsider, and you were an outsider. The only people I know that have been here forever is Billy Green. Billy Green's the only person I see that has been a total outsider that I know of. Okay, fine. I didn't know that was an outsider at that time.
everybody's been an outsider at one time.
Exactly.
But that
But they don't have nothing to do with the
So
medical
now that
issue.
you're inside, you're gonna say, well, you can't be in my club? We have laws, we have federal laws against that now. But they don't know that we have federal laws that say that you can't tell somebody that you can't come in my club. But they've forgotten that, haven't they?
It's a club now.
Medical marijuana is a whole different situation.
No, it is not, and if you will be quiet, if you can shut Sybil up for a minute, flip-flopper that she is, I will tell you why.
You're addressing yours.
Would you like to hear why? In my opinion. Really?
Listen,
Where have you heard
to
it?
a woman that said the FBI came to her house and smoked marijuana with her husband.
Yes, she did. There were FBI agents because back in the 70s it was not a substance one, and the FBI agents were right in the middle of it. One of the reasons why I divorced my ex-husband, because I didn't approve of it. But you don't tell the whole story. You only tell half the story. You only tell half the story. Are you looking for the truth, or do you want people to believe your rhetoric because you're scared to death that your husband's not going to get reelected this year?
your guy speak without interrupting him. How about
I couldn't
that?
speak.
I just
was
want to
not allowed.
congratulate everybody. There's 1.5 million viewers going to be watching y'all on TV tonight to see how progressive the city of Temple has become. And wonder why we're in the situation we're in, but I think it's abundantly clear. If anybody else would like to speak, they're welcome to the 3 minutes.
Councilman Rothwell.
My question is, could you please tell us what are the fine amounts in our neighboring cities within Carroll County? What is the fine amount in Carrollton, Villa Rica, Bowden? Why?
Her question is, if anybody wants to hear her question, or what are the fine amounts in neighboring cities? And Ms. Ransom, I think, has most of that information. I can tell you what ours is.
Right, well, I'm just,
And I think, Mr. Aker, didn't you get Hiram's?
I do, I did.
What was Hiram's?
The Hiram's is right around 1,000, the city of Temple is right around 1,000, it's all left to the judge. I don't know why we got this problem, because there was 5 people arrested last year in the city of Temple for possession of marijuana. It's not like we got a problem, there was 27 people arrested in the last 5 years.
Yes,
So I don't know why this is even an issue, other than somebody wanting to legalize pot.
It's not a legalization, quit lying.
I want to share something with my fellow citizens.
Would you like to speak on the microphone? What's your name, sir?
My name is Guy Mino.
Guy Mino.
I think the city of Temple and the council is going in the wrong direction.
Amen.
We don't want to reduce the fine from $1,000 down to $75. We need to go the other way. We need to go the other way. And all this literature and things you see on television where marijuana starts out as a little high thing, a little thing for people to play with and all, none of that's true. Once you take marijuana, you graduate to other things. Don't believe in everything you read or hear. You got to live it, and I did. My oldest son started smoking marijuana when he was 15. My wife and I kind of closed her eyes and said it's just a kid thing, and we didn't do anything about it. We made a terrible mistake. It went on when he was 16 and 17 and went on to something else, and then he needed money for his drugs, so he had to rob houses, he had to do this and the other. He wound up in jail, and for 30 years his mother and I went through this. Finally, I guess God came down and talked to him, and he changed his life, and now he's doing fine. But don't think that marijuana is just a little thing that you start out with and that's all you're going to do, because none of it's true.
Amen.
I didn't ask you where you're from because when it comes to testimony on this subject, it doesn't matter to me. Mr. Williams.
That's obvious.
I'm Randy Williams. I've got strong opinions about this. A lot of them are moral opinions. I'm not going to bore you with my moral opinions. When I tell you I believe in God, I believe in God. And that's all I'm going to tell you, because there's many of you guys out here that don't. There's nothing good, and I've heard that to help the financial arena here, nothing good can come of marijuana.
Amen.
Now, let me tell you why I say that. You cannot go to work for Janice Doors if you do drugs. You cannot go to work for Royal Metals if you do drugs.
Right.
You cannot go to work for Southwire if you do
That's
drugs.
right.
You cannot go to work for Honda Lock, and I'm naming all the major plants in Carroll County.
That's right.
Or Deco Star. You'll never be in law enforcement. You can't do that in law enforcement. So where is all this great economic upheaval coming from?
Lawyers and attorneys.
Yeah. A little town in Colorado, I'm not going to mention the town, you can read it on Newsweek. After they legalized recreational marijuana, their homeless population has increased about 25%. Their hospital visits have increased. and their enforcement costs have increased. So just think about that. Can you go to work for Georgia Power if you do drugs? Heck no. Can you go to work for Carroll EMC if you do drugs? No. Can you drive a truck for anybody in the United States if you do drugs?
No.
So where are the positive effects?
Mr. Camp.
I don't want to speak, but I just have two questions. The first question, isn't it true, Councilman, that the Temple Municipal Court for a first offense of less ounce of marijuana is fining people $1,387?
We do have some documentation to show maximum fines exceeded.
Okay, sir. Is it further true that both the city charter and the city ordinance state that the maximum fine is $1,000, and in addition to that, Georgia Code, OCGA 3632-6, specifically says that nothing shall be construed to give any municipality the right to impose a fine or punishment or imprisonment in excess of the limits as set forth in the municipality's charter?
That'd be true also.
All right, and furthermore, sir, don't you think that defendants who have paid this fine, if they found that out, don't you think that the city would be held liable for that?
I think they should be.
And,
you see, we do things our own way out here.
And last question, sir. Isn't it true that the proposed ordinance would only apply to the singular offense of a possession of an ounce or less of marijuana and not apply to any other offense that the person was stopped with?
It would only apply to the possession of 1 ounce or less of marijuana.
Thank you, sir.
I will say the city of Temple is in compliance with the fines. He's right. You can only be fined up to $1,000. But there are 7 different surcharges that are put on this by the state that the city of Temple has to pay. And do you think the taxpayers of this city should cause that burden? No. The citizen is charged up to $1,000. But then those surcharges that's put on there by the state, that the chief of police has to make sure that the city clerk of Temple has to pay it. So we pass those on to the violator. So yes, you're right. It's $1,000, nothing more. The city is in compliance. Thank you, sir, for your comment.
Anyone else wish to speak? Gary.
I'm Jay Conaway. I lived in Temple. I grew up in Temple. I raised my kids around here. I moved out of town for about 37 years, but I'm back in town now. And this is embarrassing. Of course, this is something we've been used to for the last 5 or 6, 10 years. It's embarrassing, the embarrassment of Temple. Look at the newspaper. We're always at there's something controversial going on in this town all the time. And I don't know why that is. But I talked to a GBI agent 45 minutes the other day, and according to him, everything that's said up here is true about marijuana and the problems we have with marijuana. And I won't tell you what he said completely about it, but you know, we've got a lot of problems here in this little town. We've got garbage on the top of houses on the front porch laying up there. We got yards that's in terrible shape. We've got water problems. I don't understand why, and I'm going to ask the mayor especially, why did he appoint 2 people that's for this and nobody opposing it? I'd like to have an answer on that. And I'd also like to have the police chief to give his opinion if he could about this, because you're not going to do that. Okay, I understand why you're not going to do that. But you'll be the one that's going to be doing the enforcement of this. And I wanted the sheriff's department to come up here and talk about it. But most of the law enforcement people that I've talked to is definitely against this stuff. I don't know this guy that we had the letter from. And that's another thing. We should have settled this thing here with our city council and our mayor. Not people from Lithia Springs or anybody else that ain't got a hill of a business with you.
Seems like we're able to have a civil conversation. That's great. That's what the whole purpose of this meeting is for. is to get your input, for all of us to hear how you feel about it. It wasn't a pissing match. This was, I want your feelings. I voted to support the ordinance because nobody said a word about it. Every vote that I've made in the last 16 months, I've solicited your opinions, your thoughts, and your feelings, and I don't get them. I was excited when I pulled up. You can have a turn in just a minute, sir.
You never called me.
You can certainly have a turn in just a minute.
38 years. You've never spoke to me.
You can have a turn in just a second. You'll have your 3 minutes. We opened the lines up to communication. We wanted to hear from you. We want to hear from you. We want to hear from everybody. That's why we're here. I vote the way people tell me to vote.
Then you'll vote no.
And it's your turn.
Yeah. I'm not a very...
What's your name, sir?
My name is Gene Yeardy.
Gene Yeardy.
I live on 72 Park Circle in Temple, Georgia. Been here all my life. Served on the city council 38 years. And this is the most ridiculous thing I have ever seen in my life. We used to come to this little council meeting. In 45 minutes, we settled and cleared up the city's business and went back home and everything was fine. The last 5 or 6 years, it ain't nothing but a knockdown, drag out. You don't never get everything. If all we need, all the things this community needs to work on to see that gets done, it's certainly not marijuana.
Yes, I do.
We got major problems, and I don't think marijuana is one of them. Don't think that plays into the picture one bit. Just like somebody said earlier, I'm not interested in what Clarkston does.
Good.
I'm not interested in what they do in Los Angeles. Not interested a bit. But if it's illegal, it's illegal.
Amen.
Now, either way you look at it. And true, they do have it for medical purposes, which is wonderful for children. I understand that. But once they get a little grip on the thing, moves on up the ladder. So, you know, we just needed, this community needs to come together. And I don't attend council meetings. I retired. I seen the handwriting on the wall. I seen it wasn't going to be nothing but a knockdown, drag out.
Yeah, we got penny ransom.
We come in here years ago, like I say, a lot of you people's been here. A lot of you people's been here a long time. But it's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard of in my life. And you made a comment a while ago, you contacted your people. I'm in your ward. You replaced me. And the only reason you replaced me is I got too old. Because I'm going to tell you something. I listen to people too. And the ones I listen to does not think any too much about this. So that's all I've got to say. And one other thing I will in 3 minutes. My son works for a corporation in Villa Rica. They go through 500 applications before they can get forward.
Yes. Amen.
Okay? Now, if y'all think that's fun and you think that's going to benefit our community, vote. But remember, election day is coming. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Well, my name is Mel Fain. I've been here about 32, 33 years with my wife, Joyce. I've been on the city council back in the 80s with Gene, also with Lester. William Summons, our past city council member, and I was always proud of it when I came to city council meetings. We always had good meetings. We did a lot of good things with the city, but unlike Gene, we've seen so many things start going downhill with the fussing and all that I've seen that I've been terribly disappointed with. I was a vice president of a bank here in town when we had one for about 12 years. And let me tell you, drugs is one thing that everybody picks up on. And I picked up on it when I caught people coming in requesting loans because I knew them. I found out about it. And did they get money? No. Nobody did. and it affects everybody's life, one way or the other. The one thing I'm still asking everybody to still please think about is what this will do to you in the long run and what it'll do to our community. Because we want to try to keep the punishment where it ought to be or higher, like everyone else has been saying. But thank you very much.
Anybody else? Mr. Walden?
I'll speak to the mayor. I'm not going to speak on marijuana. I'm a council member here. I will have a vote in the matter when it comes up in May, and I think everybody knows where I stand. So I'm not going to waste time talking about that. I am concerned about our economic development. We're trying to get more people in the industrial park. We just annexed 32 acres, and you were part of it, Todd, into the industrial park. We rezoned it for industrial. We have users looking at it, hopefully going to put up multi-million-dollar facilities. They're going to be looking for employees. They'll be drug screening them. They will be quality people. We've also got activity in 4 subdivisions, you know that. We've got a building going on, houses being sold. We've got new businesses coming in. We've got the Bojangles that will open May the 1st. They just tore down 2 houses to put on 113 close to City Hall for a new retail store. There's a lot going on, a lot of positive stuff. We do not need this black eye here in the Temple when we've got so much going for us.
Or Carroll County.
Or Carroll County. That's my feeling on that.
Anybody else want to speak? Okay, thank y'all for coming tonight, and I appreciate you being here and allowing me to hear your voices.
Where did your partner go, Penny Ransom? She cowered it out and ran. Hot-headed Penny.